Let's go. Timer. Start. Excellent. Let's see. Went in and saw Audrey at Select PT for an hour, once a week hour. That was good. We moved to some explosive training exercises, which is cool. I'd love to get some strength training going. I've asked this time. I asked. I was a little more pushy about it. Even showed her some things I wanted to do, and she was like, "No." Basically, no. In the sense that she's just worried about my shoulder stability. Talking about the shoulder. Wait for this timer to come up, but it's a lot better. A weird inversion of the problem. It used to be that I got some cracks. I get this big pop that feels like a tendon or something sliding over bone. It used to happen when going like this. Somewhere, it wasn't like straight out to the side. It was the more I went out, I got it, and then it was starting to happen a lot more at 45-degree angle. There's some interesting stuff when I like engage my back. If I tighten up my back and do it, it's a lot less frequent. If I'm like very lazy and do it, I get it. It also goes away if I move it a lot. But today I was there and I was like, yeah, it's doing really good. And then when I was coming down, it was like, pop. I was like, woo, and I got it to kabam, like pop a couple times, and I was like, wow, that's a brutal one. She did some stretching on it and some arm locks and stuff, and it decreased the severity. But I think, in all honesty, don't get it over here. I think it's, I don't necessarily know that it's any kind of stretching or any specific exercises that really address it. I think it's almost just moving it. It could be that like position my posture. It could be that like long periods of lazy posture like really engage it. You know, like I love to sit like a lowercase c. Try to sit up, put my shoulders back, and all that good shit. And I do that a lot more than I used to, but I still think the more tired and inattentive I get, I do sleep. I also like tend to slope into like a right leaning lean. I wish I was better about, like, if I had like a camera on me for like 72 hours or something, and then it could like analyze like this is bad posture and this is good posture and stuff. I'm sure it would be a majority bad, like 60-40 or something. Don't walk with a backpack anymore. That's like an improvement. I just always wore a backpack because hooking my thumbs in the straps like felt really good. It felt like helps my back and everything and stuff. I don't know if that was like developing some of the like causing some of the problems I was having in the arm, or like encouraging it or addressing it, or I don't know what it real effect on it had. Other than perhaps the straps were like pushing on those muscles and like wearing them out. So sometimes I would come home and the arms were more tired, which just makes sense. I mean, they had straps and I was carrying shit on them for hours, and then now I mostly just wear a jacket or nothing. Today it was 80 degrees out, which is a goddamn heat wave in San Francisco. Probably normal in some places. Was a hell of a day. I walked down. I thought like, it's a nice day out. I'm gonna walk down. I'm gonna walk over and down to the beach, and then walk up to the Cliff House, the world famous Cliff House. Nowhere near as famous as the Golden Gate Bridge, but still, it's a thing. Like if you come to San Francisco and they're like landmarks, like Cliff House will probably show up at the very least in a top 50, if not 20 thing. It used to be a lot bigger deal than it is now. It just, the fact was, it was like a restaurant with like an arcade and some crap, some shit you could buy for tourists, and it just didn't. It's not like a touristy chunk of town. There's nothing there. There's like 2 restaurants, a tourist place, and a little arcade, which was starting to be filled with like really old arcade games and pinball machines and shit. So it just wasn't like flying. And so I thought, I'm gonna walk over to Golden Gate Park, walk down to the beach, and then walk up and down there and back up home. Be about a 6-mile walk. Ended up kind of diverting my route a little bit and ended up doing closer to 7. But that was fine. Well, I was kind of hoping in a pervy way was to like walk around and just see, it's a hot day, like maybe people are dressed for it, and you get to do a little people watching. And I got, walking to the park, I didn't really see too much. There was one couple, they were just, for all the world, it looked like they were just walking around in just their bras, but with regular like sweatpants. Like their pants weren't anything to write home about. It was like you wouldn't have noticed anything. But then their top was just like just black negligee bra, not negligee bra, but just like, I was like, what are you doing? Like you're just wearing your bra around, and you kind of see them and you do a double take and they're like, look at you. Everybody's wearing masks, right? So it's like there's just eyes. Look at you. I was like, really? Like. What are you doing? Why are you... The funny thing, though, so contrast it with get down to the beach and hoping to see some people out there, showing off their bods, and to get to the beach now, you come down a big 4-lane street. 2 each direction, called Lincoln, and then Lincoln connects up to a street called the Great Highway. And the Great Highway was a big 4-lane street that like the speed limit was pretty high, like 50 miles an hour, running along the beach. And the beach in San Francisco, the ocean water there has like high riptides and stuff, so you can't. It's not like kind of place you would just like strip down your swim trunks and go swimming. Like really good idea to go in with like a wetsuit because it's pretty damn cold, and or any kind of like life vest or something, because the riptide shit will just rip you down like a mile or 2 down the beach, and you'll go out and whoa, you'll just go away, and you'll have to get out of the water and walk for like a half hour if you're lucky to get back where you were. And so you come down Lincoln, and Lincoln attaches the Great Highway. The Great Highway. At one point, the Great Highway just leads up to the cliff house I was talking about. But now, that little road's still there. That giant road is still there. But where the cliff house, where the Great Highway became the thing where you would drive like 50 miles an hour, is closed for people to walk on during COVID. So you come down the Great Highway from Cliff House, and you have to turn left and basically navigate onto Lincoln and city streets anymore, because the rest of the Great Highway is just closed, like I said. And in that little intersection, which is like, it has street lights, but they're just blinking. They're just blinking red, trying to get people to just go through it. Because it's like more or less just this one turn. Like people come up and turn right, and people come up and turn left. Because it's just a U-bend now because they've cut off where it would go straight before. And in that big wide, because this is still a 4-lane street going into a 4-lane street, but it's just this bend. In that big ass intersection, one side of which is closed and people can just skate and walk and do whatever they want, is like the most ridiculous, like G-string ass micro bikini, huge breasts, like inline skates, crew of girls skating around, and some of them are like waiting, and one will be like skating, and I'm walking down to it, and I'm like, what's going on down there? Because traffic keeps getting kind of snarled up while I see someone skating around, and they look for all the world when I'm walking down the street like they're fucking naked, and I'm like, what the fuck's going on down there? I want to see that. But you're walking, and it's not like, yeah, I'm going people watching, but I'm not like, oh, I gotta get down there and see this. So I'm walking along, doing my shit on my phone, playing the game. I get down there, and yeah, and then I see, as I described, I'm like, what the fuck? Because it's like borderline like 90s porn star shit. It's like 90s WWF women's wrestling diva crap. Like what are you doing? Like this, like white bikini bottom, white top, ridiculous. Like, and they're wearing masks and stuff, and they're skating, and I'm like, they look like a bad guy from like an 80s or 90s beat 'em up in an arcade game, like a game where you just walk to the left or right and like beat people up, and they like put in like a girl or a boy and put them in like inline skates, but they've got like, you know, like the crop, they got like short shorts and stuff on, and you're like, what, you know, what is this about? I get down there, and I was, when I get up to it, they you can kind of see their, from what I'm interpreting, seeing going on, they're like fed up with dealing with the cars because they are skating in this intersection. They're just fucking up an intersection. I kept looking around because I thought maybe it was like an advertising thing. Like maybe there was like a movie or some kind of like, what do they call it? Like roller rink, like girls roller rink battle thing. Because I was like, what in the fuck is this? Because if they were doing like an advertisement or something, I would totally want to film it and like put up like a video, like look at this ad, basically give them free advertising, you know, but maybe get a few hits for myself, because this is just ridiculous what is going on. But right about when I get there, you can see they're getting pissed off. Right when I'm getting my turn to cross the street, they room up the Great Highway and go skating. I was like, I kind of missed it, you know, kind of, you know, just looking longingly as they floss their way down the fucking street, down the Great Highway, and I was like, what was that, you know? So then I go back to my walk down the beach, checking people out, go up to playing my aqua lung, playing my hentai ass like roll. Everybody in masses, your eyes are just checking each other out. Go up to the cliff house, come back from the cliff house. As I come back from the cliff house, I see them come and start doing the thing in the intersection again. I'm like, oh, cool, I get like a rerun. And right about when I get up to it, they all come skating up where the pedestrians walking. They just all like skate by me. So I was like, oh, hi. Like, that was cool. I wanted to ask them, you know, like, hey, can I get a photo or something? You know, because it was like, when is that going to happen again? When are you going to walk someplace and these people are just doing this outrageous thing? You know, like ridiculous bodies and like, from my perspective, like doing it to be looked at, to be ogled. It didn't look like they were just people who were like, I'm going to go out inline skating. Like they looked like they were like, I'm going to go out, wear skimpy ass shit and like skate in front of like cars and have people like look at me or whatever the fuck. So I was like, man, like I want to just go up and be like, you mind if I take a photo with you guys? I once got a photo with like Lucy Lawless. I was with my buddy Mike, and I see her, and she was actually wearing the Xena Warrior Princess outfit, and I went up, I was like, hey, can we, you know, get a photo of a fan of the show? And she was like, oh yeah, but I got one request. So Mike and I are like 6'2", 6'3", you know, over 200-pound guys. Like at the time, I was probably like 300 pounds, and you know, Mike played like football and stuff. So we were these like two pretty big guys. Xena's no slouch, but she was like, oh yeah, I got one request though, and she had us in like headlocks, like each of us headlocked under her, and then had someone take the photo. That was a great photo. I always thought, like, you know, like who the fuck gets a photo? Like maybe she does that all the time, but it felt like, yeah, what a great photo. Like she like totally like interactive, like good shot. You know, anybody who knows us is like, hey, look at this. Like now Xena's like got these two big guys in a headlock. She probably loved it. She probably like look at like how strong I am and shit. You know. So I, you know, you never know when you're gonna get that kind of like chance again. I was like, oh, I wanted them to ask me if they could take a photo. But 'twas not to be. 'Twas not to be. And yeah, and then I walked back up and I walked back home, looked at the pedometer and was like, Jesus Christ, it's almost 7 miles. My fault, because whenever the game's like, if you walk here, you get a bonus. I'm like, yeah, fuck it. So then by the time I'm done with the 6 mile walk, I've walked 7 miles. I've walked an extra mile out of my way every time. It's like, you walk half a block this way, you walk a block that way, then you gotta walk back, you know. Um, yeah, but pretty good shit. So, as far as PT goes, yeah, we started throwing a ball against the wall and catching it, and doing that for a while. Try to build up some explosive strength and muscle, like retrain that muscle. It's really funny because the ball is like maybe that big, and very deflated. Like you could make it into like a super dodgeball thing. You can make it like an oblong, real like no problem. So you really got to hook it at the wall to get it to bounce. And my arms all over the place. So I'm practically just relearning how to like bounce a fucking ball, especially because it's so flat. You really got to hook it in order to come back. And anytime you do it too light, it's like it just falls on the ground. And oh, I'm gonna catch your boob, and you kick it all around the office. You're like, God, I'm such a like what a klutz I am. Like, yeah, but you also had like surgery, and you're learning to like literally like catch a ball again and shit. Like, you're learning to catch it like 25% again. From a kid, you have like this instinct, but your muscles aren't quite there. So you're like, bing, bong, bong. But by the time we're like 5 minutes or so into it, I'm like, oh yeah, I kind of got it. It's like, plus we're just throwing it at this white wall. There's nothing to like target it at. Eventually, I kind of picked out on the wall. There was like a little bit of a gradient of light and stuff. So like, okay, I'm gonna aim it there. Is like, because otherwise, just this big white field, and you're like, you're just kind of throwing it blindly, and there's no landmark, And we did that, and we did tons of like push-ups, and we did the things where we stand on one arm and push, and stand on one arm and push in circles, and we did these like yoga positions where I push and you hold it for like a minute at a time, and she's like, these ones fuck people up. And I don't know if I didn't like get a lot of sleep and the like throwing the ball like wore me out, but I was like sweating all over the fucking place. It sweating doesn't bother me, but it is like you notice it when you're like fucking a place up with sweat. You're like, I'm sorry, and they're like, well, you are working out. It's not a big deal. But yeah, we're week 12, which means like as far as my Dr. Akazuki was concerned, the surgical site should be fully repaired. I do wish I was going more often to PT just because I like checking in with someone who's like, this progress, yes, that progress, no. Anyway, this has been way too long of a video of me talking about being a perv and walking down to the beach and all my like workout crap. So we'll check in some more with that tomorrow. We called it a like fuck it for today with recording some videos. Andy and I, you just forget exactly what I said. Like, not tonight. It wasn't like a mood thing, but it felt. I think probably it was just too fucking hot. Like everybody's just like worn out today. But we'll probably do Wolfenstein, the 2001 Return to Castle Wolfenstein when we do that, and then Cray and I have been talking about doing the 2017 Doom. That would be great. I might check in with him right after this, see if he's around, just like catch up a little bit because our schedules have been off of each other. So tomorrow night is what we call burrito night. So I'll be checking in early, and then there won't be anything going up. And then maybe Friday or Saturday or Sunday we'll start the Wolfenstein. I'll probably start pushing for like Friday with Andy, see how he feels. That way, if it falls back, it'll fall back to a Saturday or Sunday, and then we can get back onto our regular schedule. Yeah, that's it. Let's just call it here. It's already twice as long as it has to be. See you guys.